Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Marc Schneider of Medicine Cabinet, and he has agreed to meet with us today and answer a few of our questions. Hi, Marc. How are you doing?
Good, Mark. How are you doing?
In a Southern California kind of way, I guess. And you're in a Northern California kind of way.
That's right. And it's sunny as can be up here, and I know it's sunny as can be down there. So.
Well, it's actually it's been a little overcast today, which is unusual, but we'll just deal with that.
Yeah,
so,
David Lynch has been letting me know what the weather reports of Southern Cal is happening.
I enjoy those.
Yeah, they're the
he's
best.
Amazingly consistent. Sunshine up and down the way.
So good.
Without further ado, what was the sound that you heard all those years ago that started you on the path to where you are today?
Show and tell item number 1.
Yes.
The soundtrack to Jaws. It was really like one of the first light switch moments, I think, when I was a kid. That was, because I think even the soundtrack or parts of it were even in the top 40. Am I right about that? Do you know? It was just all when that movie happened. I mean, it was such a success that and I actually, this isn't the record, but the record that I did own when I was a kid, I bought it at Woolsworth, downtown Tracy, and light switch moment, and it kind of just has still. When you think about the things that inspire you, obviously, now that I've continued on like pursuing music and whatnot, I always think back on that, especially making experimental music and whatnot. That was really like one of those things that I've always have kept with me. And in cases like this, if I was ever going to be interviewed, I know Chad up in Sacramento, he's asked me in an interview before about like what was one of the first things that really, it's Jaws and all those types of sounds that came out of all of that, those programs and stuff, that it was everything to me, So, definitely Jaws. And I just showed this to you, but I haven't listened to it for quite a while. Maybe I'll put it on tonight.
Well, it was, I went online and it was number 6 on the AFI's 100 Years of Film Scores.
Oh, there you go.
And MCA released it in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
And 25th anniversary release. It doesn't say where it got on the top 40, but it was certainly well respected.
Oh, yeah.
What an interesting gateway into music altogether.
Absolutely. And it's been really great to see like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross like excel to where they are now. You know, I always, even when I first learned about Nine Inch Nails back in the early 90s, I was always like, this dude should definitely like sooner or later do soundtrack music, So,
right.
And sure enough.
So what is your process for writing a piece?
My process for writing a piece, a huge inspiration would probably be just having a deadline to make some pieces, get them turned in, and but I do a lot, like I said, I'm a truck driver, and I do a lot of sitting around. I get on to YouTube a lot and watch all the new gear. That's why I'm continuously buying new pieces of gear, because I'd see pieces of gear just like paint where, oh geez, I don't have that color yet, kind of thing, or I know that it's gonna mix well with something that I already own. And just hearing all those things and then applying it, and that's why it's called experimental music, is that you sit down and you're constantly plugging in, unplugging stuff in, and especially if I'm going to go and play live somewhere, I usually have it mapped out in my head of the devices that I want to use, and then usually day of the show or day before the show, I'll plug everything in and make sure that everything's working, and if it really is how I mapped it out in my head, most of the time it works out, and then I go from there.
It's really great to set everything up beforehand, and I find that it's the cables that are most likely to fail.
Or your power adapters and all that stuff. You got to definitely make sure. You don't want to show up and it happens, you show up and you wing it sometimes. I've been trying like my hardest for a couple years now to bring less to shows. I used to bring like a whole bunch of stuff, set up like a couple tables and
yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and then there's so many newer devices now that you just click onto a pedal now and it's like instant soundtrack type things going on. So I have obviously a handful of those devices, so less is always kind of good in my book right now, but maybe I'll get back to bringing more stuff to shows.
Well, it was a spectacular display. I remember the 2 table setup at Wonder Valley, and it was like, wow, look at this. It was really a wow for me.
I usually have like 2 or 3 like main things going, but like I said, using less is kind of where I'm at right now.
We're leading nicely to, is there a piece of gear that you find particularly inspiring that you will be using for Wonder Valley 13?
Here we go. The JHS Pedals Color Box 2.
Oh.
It is a preamp. It's nothing, I have to think too, a lot of people that get into making experimental music, you want to buy all the super weird delays and reverbs and modulation type effects to get things really out there happening, and I was no different. The things that I didn't purchase for the longest time, this is a preamp pedal, and like a really fucking awesome one. For quite a while I listened to a lot of recordings from friends. So many of them, like the sound that they get, it's just so in your face and so big sounding, and my recordings are much like that too, but you always want, okay, what can I do to make it even bigger? And so obviously in one of my nights of just perusing gear online on YouTube, I came across, I don't know if you watched the JHS Pedals channel on YouTube, but funniest guys ever. And this is the only pedal that I have of theirs. They have like, everything.
A bazillion, yeah.
Yeah. But real funny guys, and it's like they're just getting funnier and funnier every episode.
Well, and the musical, they're coming out with a musical, I understand, about pedals.
Really? It doesn't surprise me. That's awesome. When I got this pedal, right away, it was like night and day. I was like, okay, this is obviously something that I've been missing. I mean, I have a Korg digital, the MS-2000 digital recorder that I record mostly all my stuff on, and it's got a really good preamp in it, but I never considered like, oh, maybe I should check out some other preamps and or compressors and stuff like that. And I'm slowly getting into more of that. So I'm probably going to buy another one of these because I have so many devices that are in stereo. This is a mono device, so. But yeah, a lot of synthesizers that I own are in stereo, and it just creates, it's even bigger and, like I said, right in your face kind of stuff.
Wow, that's great. Well, you kind of have dealt with the fourth question, which was, you have personally dealt with a lot of gear in the time I've seen your shows.
Yeah.
What appeals to you in a piece of gear, and what gear do you let go?
Getting back to those main pedals and modular devices, maybe that you'll buy to start experimental is the modulation type pedals and delays and reverb and whatnot. So those are the ones that I have absolutely loved, and for whatever reason, I don't sell too much nowadays. If I purchase something, I kind of really, it takes me a while to purchase something, and then I kind of factor in, that I won't be selling it, in the future. I used to be all about it. I used to, circuit bend stuff and sell it on eBay, or I've had so many other especially delay pedals that I'll be in some kind of pinch or something that I'll want to quickly sell, and then I kick myself for selling it, and then one fine example, and I don't own it right now, but that would be the Boss Giga delay,
right?
That came out. It's an older pedal, but I love that thing to death, which I know so many people do, and I have probably owned and disowned that thing probably like 5 or 6 times now for
really
whatever reason. Yeah. It's just like, oh man, I need that thing again, and I still think to this day, when it's just was one of my go-to devices back then, and probably on older recordings, that was definitely part of my sound kind of thing. If you want to, if you think that you have some kind of sound going on.
Yeah. Well, since I've been asking all the questions, is there anything you would like to add, or a question for me, or anything like that? I mean, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander,
Yeah. How's Fog Machine Project? How's Francine and everything?
Oh, Francine's doing great. She's doing poetry in the next office, and she retired. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we're healthy. We're happy about that. We have our injections planned for Wednesday.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping to go and get that real soon also. And you both are out in 29 Palms now?
No, we're in the great city of Costa Mesa right at this moment.
Costa Mesa still, okay.
And we go out to Joshua Tree regularly.
Joshua Tree, yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I really miss the Palms. I miss everybody.
I talk to Bobby from Liver Cancer a lot because I go and help him with the blimps,
Oh, yeah.
He has me assigned to one blimp here in Tracy at one of the housing developments. But yeah, we talk all the time about how much we're missing getting together with everybody and just hanging out, going to these shows, Wonder Valley or Noise Fest, or Audio Waffle. It's always, you have a lot of days where, you don't get to feel like you're doing anything artistic, and then just being around everybody that that is artistic and getting to hear everybody's newer things that they've been working on. It totally would charge your batteries, and all of our batteries are kind of low right now.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while.
It's very cool to see what everybody's been doing, like visually, like contributing to online type stuff. But, it doesn't compare at all to, getting to be around everybody and, giving hugs and kisses and, hearing, appreciation for, from a crowd of what you've been trying to get across or whatnot.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, we'll be back to it soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. It feels like there's some light at the end of the tunnel for sure. And everybody has to get on board with it, So
well,
get on board, everybody.
On that happy note,
yeah.
I'm going to end the interview now. Thank you, Mark, and
Thank you,
We'll
Mark,
see you
for
soon.
everything. Yeah, absolutely, buddy.